I'm not very angry anymore.
Angry are.
I was pretty angry yesterday. I wasn't like angry like I want to break things and throw things and do all that stuff. I got past that. I went past that anger. I went almost to like, just kind of had to laugh anger.
Oh.
Like, ha 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 ha, this is so fun. Anger.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
That's not good.
No.
That's not good.
No.
That's not good.
My bowling ball didn't do what I told it to do. Ever.
Well, mine went down the lane.
I mean, I guess if I'm saying that, then yeah, it did what I told it to do. Go down the lane. It just didn't go in the direction. I mean, actually, directional-wise and angle-wise, it was going where I wanted it to go. But the son of a bitch wouldn't do what I told it to do. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. It was one of those times where, okay, we talk about it all the time. Higher scoring pace. No, you need 230 plus. So when your ball reaction falls to flat 10, swish 7, 4-pin type ball reaction, and you start making the minor moves to get to where you need to be, like, oh, my ball's too quick. Let's make it a little slower. Oh, now it's too slow. Let's grab a slower ball and not make it slower. Okay, it's a little too slow. Let's make it quicker. Okay, we make it quicker. Okay, now it's too quick. And then you start moving your feet around, trying to find the sweet zone of quickness and slowness combined, and getting it to read the front part of the lane the right way, and all these good things. But it just didn't seem that you could, like, there was no matching up for me yesterday. I don't know how you felt, but that's exactly how I felt. I could not match up no matter. I mean, I threw all 12 balls that I took into the building.
I did more than that.
I know you came out to the car to get balls.
That's something I've never done during a tournament before. I walked to the car and got more bowling balls out of the car. I didn't throw it great games 2 and 3. I threw a couple bad shots, and I paid Mac's penalty for sure. But I was still like 40 over after 3. And then I shot 240. And it was like 80 over, obviously pretty far off the pace, but pretty far into getting a check though. And then games 5 through 8, just, I mean, we beat up the 1-3. Like we beat it up.
Yeah.
We beat it up.
Yeah.
But I could not. I had to bowl, so it kind of sucked because I had to bowl the last 3 games on the low side of the building, and they hooked a ton, and I just couldn't figure out how to match up. It felt like all of the balls, all like the ace and pearls that I like to throw from further left that I normally use, would bog down too much, and then the symmetric pearls would either be so quick that when they saw that all the friction to the right, they just got too forward. Like I tried throwing a sublime, core was a little too big. I tried throwing an exponent pearl, that felt way too whippy. I tried the ball that you guys are going to get to hear about this week. Well, I guess you saw it on the Shark Show. That one felt a little too weak for what I like to do. It's just tough. I feel like I'm going through some growing pains at the moment. I feel like that's fair. Is that a fair thing to say?
We'll call it that.
Just where, like, my ball rules really changed. My ball speed's higher than what it used to be. It's higher than what it's ever been in my life, to be honest with you. And like, I'm losing weight. I feel healthier. I feel stronger. My ball roll's getting better. Ball speed's higher. Rev rate's a little higher than normal, like higher than what it was. So like, I just feel like I'm not quite seeing the lanes the same way. So I'm kind of feel like I've just got to make some different choices. So, and I think it's only in that environment. It's the, like, these high friction where there's a lot of friction in the front and friction down lane, and you just gotta like figure out how to blend it correctly. And I just kind of haven't figured that out. That was my issue on Shark. That was my issue here. So, yeah, it's tough. I think it's a learning process for me personally. I think I just got to figure out something different because I just the things I used to do not work now because I don't throw it the same way I used to. So
I don't know, I feel like sometimes there's just those blocks where, sure, there's a right answer, but sometimes you just never figure out the right answer.
Yeah, like, I don't necessarily I don't feel like I had the right answer yesterday. I had a nice conversation with Richie Teese during that last game because I just was like, hey, man, like, I got nothing. So if you want to tell me to throw balls or you want to tell me to try and do things, like, give me a hand. I'm always willing to try new things and learn. So I just, I could have kept just doing what I was doing and shooting 2-0 to 2-team, but that wasn't going to get me anywhere. So I figured it was worth trying some new things and seeing some different pictures. But
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like people will look at my score and they'll be like, "Bro, you went under." I'm like, well, yeah, because with 4 games to go, I'm even or just over.
And you're chasing 250 ball motion.
Yeah,
like,
so now I'm not going to sit there and shoot 2-10 every game. It doesn't get you anything.
That is the thing I really, we should probably talk about because it happened in the PTQ like last year for me. There was one of the PTQs. Actually, I think it happened in Springfield this year. And we didn't really talk about this. Like, I finished like minus in Springfield. But it's like, you guys have to understand, in these tournaments, you get, like, finishing
100th
25th is the same as finishing 100th.
Yeah.
Like, so who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care if I miss by 200 or if I miss by 40. It's all the same. So, like, when you have 3 or 4 games to go, you're just like, I'm going to throw the whole bag at it and hope I magically fall my way into 250 ball motion and shoot 820 the back 3.
Yep.
Because it doesn't matter. Like, it's not like, oh my God, they bowled absolutely atrocious. They went minus. No. We just decide, like, there's a point in the block where you're like, it's all or nothing.
Yep.
And you do that.
Sometimes you end up with all, or sometimes you end up with nothing.
Yeah, I mean, but if you don't try that, you're never going to know.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point. That's actually, in my opinion, something that will differentiate a good bowler from someone that's an average bowler out here. Because there's going to be those days where you're like, you know what, I'm just going to throw this ball that I don't think is right, but who knows? Because you're just like, I got to find something. And then you're going to have that magical day where you're like, well, look what I found.
Yeah.
And then you shoot 820 and you go from air ball to in the cut.
Yep.
Like, that's the thing. But if you're one of those guys that's like, well, I'm just going to grind it out, and I'm just going to keep doing the thing, and you miss by 60, and you're like, well, I just could knock them all down enough to get there. Well, you didn't do yourself any favors.
Yeah.
Like, it's better to miss by 150 than it is to miss by 50.
Yep.
That's my opinion.
I agree.
So I really think people, like, you can't always just look at the standings because that doesn't always tell you the full story.
Yeah, so you could sit there and miss by 50 and then think at the end of the day, well, what could I have done differently?
Yeah, then what are you going to do? Go to the car and complain that, well, if I had carried 7 more times, I would have made it?
Yeah, like, you have no idea what you could have done differently because you didn't try to do anything differently. You did the same thing over and over again. It's like the definition of insanity. Do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Like, no, that's not how this works.
No, and that's the thing is because those really good bowlers, you're going to have that tournament every so often where you just find it.
Like, Greg texted me last night as I was going to bed, and he said, are you okay? I've never seen you go minus in a tournament. I'm like, I'm fine, but, like, it's just one of those situations where it's like, I don't care if I go minus or if I go, like, what's the difference between plus 80 and
what's
minus 50?
What's the difference between what you did and what I did?
Not a thing. That's my point.
Not a thing.
So I'm like, sure, could I have
We both walked away from the tournament with the same thing, and I went 80 over or 70 over.
I could have grinded and bowled 80 over, but what good would it have done? No good. Absolutely zero good. So I'm not doing that. Like, what's the point?
Like, I went...
make myself feel better?
Yeah. I bowled 3 games in a row where I went 2-0, 2-0, 190 with 1 open and missed the 1-3 once. And what did it get me? Nothing. I didn't get a check. I didn't get anything. Like, cool.
Sweet.
It got me the same thing you did. So, it's just, you guys got to understand, the standings do not always tell the full story. It's the same thing in match play. When you guys are watching match play and someone shoots like 160 in match play, and you're like, man, his looks really bad, or it went away. No, a lot of times that's somebody bowling, and that game is already dead. They have no chance, and they throw 6 different bowling balls for 5 frames. Because you don't even shoot spares. I How many times have you done that? Where you're bowling a match against somebody and you're dead, and you don't even shoot a spare. You just go grab a different bowling ball and throw it to see what it does.
Yeah.
Like, you don't care if you make those spares because you already lost the game.
Yeah.
This guy's gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was one of those days where you throw the whole bag at it, you try to figure something out, never really figure anything out. You're seeing it, but yet you just can't quite get your ball to do the right thing.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It just really felt like it. Obviously, like, I know you didn't get to bowl shark, but for me, it really felt similar to bowling on that, where it's just like when you start fighting friction in multiple parts of the lane, where like your ball wants, like, you start trying to throw some bigger balls and they slow down on the front, and then they get too forward down lane when they see the friction down lane as well. Then it's like, okay, well, I can't do that. Then you're like, well, I'm gonna take the friction in the front out of play and use the friction down lane. Well, okay, but now all the balls I have to use to take that friction out of play in the front aren't blending the friction down lane correctly. So it's just, that's definitely been something I've struggled with, and it's funny because it's the exact opposite of what I struggled with last year. Where on tour, I struggled last year when we had to get our ball to slow down in the front, and when there was no friction in the front part of the lane. Like what we're probably going to see more of today, since we're back on the Brunswick machine.
Yeah.
With absolute control oil, which is a whole different beast. Like, I spent the last year trying to learn how to make my ball read the front part of the lane correctly. And then we bowled 2 tournaments in a row, well, I have, where my ball hooked in the front. And I just didn't use that correctly. So I've got to start working on things, and it's just another thing, and that's why you're always learning, you're always developing, you're always getting better.
Yep. I agree. So we're headed to the TOC right now. We've got 8 minutes until we get there.
Yep.
We've got a bowl, I think 7 games to just see who can make it into the full field of the TOC. So
taking 8.
Probably top 8 or so out of about 50 bowlers.
Yeah, it's normally 8, 9. Depends if there's anybody that withdraws. They always try and keep the pairs even. You never really know with this tournament. This tournament's kind of, because there's obviously some guys that are older that bowl this just to bowl it because they won titles and
Yeah.
they like to be able to do this. I know we only have like 52 in the BTQ, so it's 52 and they're taking 8. Same pattern as last year, 41 feet. We both made the cut last year. We both like this building, so hopefully we can. I have my thumb and I have a spare one.
That's good.
2 things I didn't have last year this tournament.
That's good. Do you have your brain?
Debatable.
We'll find out.
Debatable.
All right, we're out of
It's
here.
very smooth.
It's very smooth.
Very smooth.
Smooth brain.
Smooth brain.
All right, y'all. We will hopefully have some footage for you.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're not like, 17 pairs from each other for one.
Yeah, hopefully we're not 17 pairs from each other, and hopefully we're not bowling like Dookie.
Maybe we end up with the same pair for one?
No chance. No chance. They never let us do that.
Never.
It's amazing.
Never. We literally have not been within
10 pair.
all year in one BTQ.
Not once.
Not one.
Always on the opposite sides of the building.
Literally always the exact, like the regional yesterday. The literal exact opposite sides of the building.
Yeah.
I started on the high end of the low end of the building, and you started on almost the high end of the high end of the building.
Yep. 2-sided bay. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So.
All
All right, y'all. We're out. Wish us luck. Hit the like button.
Like,
We'll
subscribe.
get you some more footage, and we'll talk more bowling here in a little bit.
Yeah.
See ya.